Class is in memory of Jared Orchen, and today we're going to learn the Haftorah of Parshat Acharei and Acharei Kedoshim. Page 1435. This is Haftorah. If you read, if it like this here, when it's two parshas together, this is the Haftorah for the two parshas together. When it's separated, this will be the Haftorah for Acharei, and will be another Haftorah for Kedoshim. Basically, this is the Haftorah that will be read most of the times. But we didn't learn that yet. We're going to learn that now. It's from the book of Amos, Prophet Amos. When was Amos?
8th century.
Yeah.
Mid-8th century.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like the earliest of the literary prophets.
Of the what? Of the later
Of
prophets.
like Isaiah, Ezekiel,
Yeah.
Jeremiah. He was the earliest, I guess.
Of this group.
Yeah.
And from where is he coming?
Northern Kingdom.
He was coming from Judah to the kingdom of Israel and started to tell them what to do.
Was Hoshea
Probably not a
first
good
or
idea.
Amos?
They were contemporaries, but I guess
Right.
Amos was just slightly ahead of him.
Okay.
And he came to the kingdom of Israel and he started to give them mussar, to reprimand them, to tell them, to rebuke them. Obviously the crowd was not so receptive and enthusiastic about that. The Medrash says, I think, that he was killed. And he was, what he started, there is another Haftorah that we read from the book of Amos, I think for Parshat Vayeshev. And the style of Amos was a very interesting style. He started, for the 3 sins of Damascus, I will not forgive them, in the name of God. Everybody wants to hear the sins of Damascus. Then he says, for the 3 sins of other countries, for the 3 sins of Judah. Oh, he's speaking even against his own people, sure, great. Then he says, and for the 3 sins of Israel, oh. By then he got the attention of the whole crowd. It used to go around the towns and reprimand the whole world outside. Everybody likes to hear that, oh, Russia is bad, and Syria is bad, and ISIS is bad. And everybody says, yeah. And then he said, and you guys are also not so good. And by then they heard what he said. This is the last chapter in the book of Amos. And here is actually kind of giving some positive language. There is here, the beginning here is like, it's not, you can read it in 2 ways. You can read it in a negative way, and then you can read it in a positive way. It's very interesting how the commentaries, some take it this direction. I read it all negative way. Today I found something, whoa! He has a whole new story here. Then let's start reading a little bit, and we'll see what we make from it. Go ahead.
O children of Israel, says God, you are to me like the loyal children of Cush, who serve their masters for life.
Okay, let's read it without the parentheses. Children of Israel, says God, you are to me like the children of Cush. Where is Cush?
It's a debate, but some say Ethiopia, some say
India,
Yemen.
India, Ethiopia, Yemen, yeah. God says the darker one, the darker skinned people. Right? Huh?
2 very different directions, India and Ethiopia.
Really? Then it's probably more Ethiopia. But it could be Cush,
Some say Yemen too.
Yemen. The point is like this. Now God tells the Jewish people, you are like Bnei Cushim, like the people of Ethiopia to me. What does this mean? Is this a positive statement?
I don't think so.
It seems like a universal statement.
I thought that we are the chosen people. Now you're telling me you're like everybody else.
Loyal.
That's in parentheses.
Well, that's what we have to go by, right?
The text.
Right.
How would you know?
The text says you're like anybody else. Obviously, the Jews, this is before the destruction of the first temple, right? Maybe 100 years before the destruction of the first temple, maybe more. At that time, every Jew went around with this feeling that he's chosen, nobody can touch him, nothing will ever happen to the Jews or to the Jewish people. Suddenly, God comes and says, you guys, you are like everybody else. And like everybody else can be good and bad, and I get rid of them, so you too. Not a positive experience.
It denies the election.
It denies that we are the chosen people, so to speak.
Right.
It touched the core of the issue. Basically, you can also be unchosen, so to speak. Later, you see that no matter what, it will not destroy the Jewish people. But the introduction is not exciting.
He says you are to me like. I think that's the whole point. Like, that doesn't mean that God has forsaken the...
You're right, but you're like regular people to me. When you don't behave, you're like anybody else, basically.
You know, and the interesting thing is it contradicts the Parshat Kadoshim, where, right? It says,
It's
you're a
not-
holy people unto me, a
If
special people.
If you will be holy,
Right,
if we will be holy,
True.
then we'll be holy. You understand?
right.
You're right, but you're right. It contradicts the basic
Right.
stories of the parsha of the chosen people in the Ten Commandments in the Mount Sinai. God says you'll be a people, treasured people to me, and a holy people to me. God says it many times.
Right.
But here,
There are other commentators who take this very positively and say it's a universalistic message, just like love your
Everybody's-
neighbor.
yeah, everybody's good. Huh?
Yeah. And there's a shade of good in everybody, you know.
It's true. But it does mean because there's a shade of good in everybody means that we are like everybody else.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Not because I love my neighbor doesn't mean I don't love my child more.
Yeah, I mean, it's
not a
always been
contradiction.
universal, but we were still the
Special.
chosen
Yeah,
people.
chosen people.
But
Doesn't
there are
mean,
commentators who say that this shows that everybody else is chosen as well.
you know, the moment you say everybody else is chosen, then there is no
Then
chosen.
nobody's chosen.
Exactly.
Chosen for different things.
If everybody is good,
No,
then
but it's not
So either
saying-
you're downgrading
The
the
Jews?
children of Israel, or you're uplifting everybody else. It's one of the
no,
other.
no matter how you translate it,
There's an
it's not
equality.
equality, and not a good message to the Jews. Maybe a good message to everybody else, but not to us. Okay, let's just finish the verse, if you don't mind.
Should I read the parentheses?
Please.
For I only took Israel out from Egypt to serve me, but I did not take the Philistines from Kaphor, nor Aram from Kir.
Okay, now, if you don't read the parentheses, what it's written here? For I took Israel out from Egypt, but means also, you can even translate to say it, the Philistines from Haftorah and nor Aram from Kir. Basically, God says, I took everybody else from one place to another. You're not the only one. That's the regular translation if you read just the text. I took you out from Egypt, I took them out from Haftorah. I took them out.
But it says, oh, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't, it's not clearly written, but the meaning is that I took you out and I took the
Them
others out too.
I took them out too.
Right, yeah,
That if you behave, fine. If not, goodbye.
right.
It says, I did not take in parentheses.
In parentheses.
I did not take.
Now, what's the next? But now we'll read number 5.
But since you sinned, the eyes of God Almighty are upon the sinful kingdom of Ephraim, and I will wipe it off the face of the earth. But I will not completely destroy the house of Yaakov, says God.
Okay, here is some good news. I will destroy you, but I will not destroy you completely. Not like the other nation who were destroyed completely. I will not destroy you completely. That after all, you're like Cushim, but not the same. Now comes the second commentary. Where is the word Cush mentioned in the Bible also? Again.
A couple places, I think, but the Queen of Sheba is from Cush.
Yeah.
Right?
Before
Moses' wife,
Moses' wife, yeah.
Moses' wife,
Zipporah.
Zipporah. What's written about
She was
Moses'
in a
wife? It's written about Moses' wife in Parshat
So doesn't Miriam
Acharei
make a reference to
Was
that?
he also?
Page
Jethro?
937. Actually, page 935. Actually. Chapter 12, number 1.
Miriam and Aaron spoke critically about Moshe regarding his divorce from the woman of renowned beauty that he had married.
Of renowned beauty. You know what's written in the text? Look at 3 lines from the bottom in the Hebrew side. The 4th and 5th word. Aisha Akushit.
Akushit.
Means the Ethiopian woman, the Midianite woman, the dark woman. That's literal.
Cush is dark?
Kush means, no, it's a place.
That's what I thought.
Kush is a place, Ethiopia. The people from Ethiopia are black.
Right, well, that I know.
That's the idea.
Okay.
Then, literally, it means she came from Kush. You see how they translate it? The of renowned beauty. That comes from Rashi. Rashi says, as much as a dark person sticks out among everybody, so too the beauty of Tzipporah stuck out among everybody. Understand? Just like a Kushi sticks out from among everyone, and everybody recognizes them, so too she was so beautiful that she stood out.
So this is Rashi's interpretation.
Rashi's interpretation.
But the literal text says she's from Cush.
She's from Kush. Now, if you understand this way the text, now it makes sense. Alo kibni kushim atem li. You are sticking out. You are so different, like somebody from Kush sticks out. You are different. Not that the message here, not that you are like everybody else, just the opposite. You are not like everybody else. That's the most positive message.
So you are like the children of Cush.
Like the children of Cush are so different, so too atem li bnei Israel. You are for me the Jewish people.
Wow.
Oh, now it sounds amazing. That's the way to learn it. There's always the positive way to translate the Torah and the negative way. Our job is to translate it in the positive way. And he says, I took only, now it makes sense with the parentheses, only Israel I took out from Egypt. Did I took out the Egyptian from, I took out the Philistines from Haftorah and the Aramites from Kir? I didn't. Only you I took out. Because you stand out, because you're different. That's what he says.
Haftorah and Aram and Kir are also Egypt?
No, it's not Egypt. There is Haftorah, you learn about the Haftorim in the beginning, in Bereshis. Remember Haftorah? Amim come from Haftorah. There's in
Are they
the,
from Cyprus or?
where is Haftorah? God knows. I don't know. I really don't. I'm sure you can look up on this on the cell phone. You find out where Haftorah is.
It's not the same then. I mean, he's not Philistines. He took us out of Egypt,
Philistine from yeah.
and the Philistines. It's not from Egypt. It's from this other place.
I said the Philistines from Haftorah.
I know, but
And Aram from Kir.
So why are we special then?
Because he didn't take him out. He took out only us out. He didn't take them out. That's what he says. For I only took Israel out from Egypt to serve me, but I did not take the Philistine from Haftorah, nor Aram from Kir. He did not take them out.
I don't know anything about that.
Okay, now he says, if you're about God will be, God's eyes are on the bed kingdom. Where is written Eine Hashem? What means God's eyes? There is Eine, two. There is sometimes it's written 2 eyes, and sometimes it's not only 1 eye.
Right.
Remember something? I remember a medrash and there is in Psalms, there is one time it's written God's eyes, plural, and once is one God, 1 eye. And 2 eyes is more a stronger protection of God. Then it's written about the Jewish people. God might be angry with the evil kingdom, but it's 2 eyes of God are on us. No matter how bad the Jewish people are, it's written about the land of Israel. that God's eyes are in the land of Israel from the beginning of the year until the end of the year. Remember such a line?
The Rebbe likes that line.
You very much.
10 days of repentance? Or
Huh?
10 days of repentance?
No, it's in the Bible.
Protection. It's a protection.
Yeah. That here, even it's written in a bad way, it's still a good thing. He says, because I will never destroy the people, the house of Jacob.
But
Okay,
he's
go ahead.
also, I think the message too is saying that you don't take me for granted,
Absolutely.
okay? You will still be punished for your sins, just like everyone else.
But not like everybody else. You'll never be destroyed completely.
Right, but still,
Yeah, absolutely.
there's, I
Absolutely.
think that's the message.
Absolutely, but that's a message full of hope. You're different, you're unique, you're special to me. God punishes the Jews, so to speak, because they are special, because He cares for their behavior. You don't care for your neighbor's behavior. Right, that's not my business. Your neighbor's child is not your business. Your child, how do you did it?
Right. If they keep the covenant, okay, if they obey and so forth, but the idea of historical redemption, okay, and election as a result of, being taken out of Egypt is
That was the chosen, yeah.
is an entry of God into history, right?
Entry of the Jews into it.
Right. But that's that idea is sort of put into question.
Oh, let's not put in a question. He says, even though you were chosen, don't take it for granted. Don't mean you can do whatever you want. That's what it means.
Right.
Doesn't mean that I'm not going to punish you.
Right.
Yes, you're right. Here he says, let's read number 9.
For I am going to issue a command, and I will exile the house of Israel among all the nations. But the righteous will persevere, just as a pebble shakes back and forth in a sieve, but does not fall to the ground.
Basically, God will, like what is called, when you sift anything,
Refined, or
then the good will stay, and the bad will fall off, so to speak. That's what happened in the exile, so to speak. That's why the Jewish people go to exile. Kind of, the strong will survive, and the other ones will be assimilated. That's what really is happening. Mm-hmm. But you see, going into exile was also a blessing from God. It's written in the Parsha, I think of this week, we're going to read in Parshas Acharei. Then God is exiling the Jewish people for what? Because He wants to make sure we are not only in one person, in one place to be destroyed. That if there is Jews in one place or being suffering, there's always be Jews in another country to continue Judaism. It'll never be over. Mm-hmm. Jews are spread all over the world for a purpose.
Right. And that's what happened when the Syrians defeated the north. There was a remnant that survived.
You're right. That's happened many times. I mean, in the Holocaust, you don't have to go far.
That's right.
When it was the Holocaust, Jews in America were still there, flourishing.
But this is the period that we're talking
You're right.
about.
Yes. Probably this a little earlier than that.
yeah, just before that.
yeah.
Just before.
Right, yeah.
Just before.
Kicked
Yes.
Right.
That's what Amos' job was, to
Right.
tell people, if you will not wake up, that's where it's going.
Right. This was actually, I think, a few decades before the North
You are right.
collapsed.
These are the final warnings, basically.
Right.
Get your act in order.
That's correct.
But in the end of the prophecy of Amos,
There
it
were a number of
doesn't even
warnings.
give. It looks like he gave up. He sees a vision that God tells him this was going to happen, and there is no. In the beginning, he stands up to try to save the Jews, and then this is it. It's over, kind of. Mm-hmm. That here, it's after he's giving up. He says, still the Jewish people as a whole will survive. This kingdom of Israel will not survive, but the Jewish people will survive. That's what he's really saying here. Number 10.
All
1 second. You're looking for something? Huh?
No, I'm good. I'm looking at
Bechukotai.
the Parsha.
Yeah, I'm trying to say, where is this written? That in Hashem Elokecha bo merishis Hashem adach shama. that the eyes of God are on the land of Israel from the beginning of the year to the end of the year.
Yeah, I was looking at that and then got deflected, or looking for that.
It's written, no?
I thought that was the line used for the 10 days of repentance.
No. הנה השם יקרא במאות. It's somewhere in Deuteronomy, I just don't remember where. Maybe it's here. When I start to look for it, it'll be too long. Okay, but that's what's written there. Now comes the number 10. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All of the sinners of my people who say, no evil will approach or come to us quickly, because they deny the principle of reward and punishment, will die at the sword of the nations, but the righteous will persevere.
That's what he's saying here. That's exactly the message he's trying to say. Don't think you'll be punished. The Jewish people were going around and saying that this temple, that was an expression in time in a book for Jeremiah, in Isaiah, Abayit hazeh, or there's a Mikdash hazeh, there was an expression that said, this temple will support Mishkan. So I don't remember exactly what, though they said, this temple will protect us. As long as you have the temple, the popular belief was that as long as we have the temple, we are safe. Keep the temple, do whatever you want, you're safe. You see, Amos was going around and basically reprimanding the Jews for not being observant, mainly for not being nice to other people, for not caring for the poor. Right. It was a very social message. There is one line in the book of Amos that he says that the owners of the stores are saying, when Shabbos will be over, we can go back to the store and rip off the poor. That they observe Shabbos, and waiting when Shabbos will be over, they can rip off the poor. Understand? It's interesting. From there we learn, they said when Shabbos will be over, when Rosh Chodesh will be over. From there they learn that in biblical times, Rosh Chodesh was also an observant day. People were not working on Rosh Chodesh. It wasn't not allowed, but people were not working on Rosh Chodesh. Kind of 4th of July type of thing. Then, what you see is all message from Amos. It's all about being nice. That the leaders don't care for the poor people, and then there is a separation. The rich take advantage of the poor, and so on and on. Mm-hmm. It's a social message, because Israel at that time, the kingdom of Israel, was doing well financially. The economy was booming. Mm-hmm. And he says, if you will not care for the simple people, then you're going to lose everything for the poor people.
So the implication is that the kingdom of Israel was destroyed not because they were idol worshippers, but because of the way they treated each other?
It goes together with idol worship.
So they go hand in hand.
Yeah, it's interesting enough. People keep Shabbos and were idol worshippers. They were putting a tefillin and still idol worshippers. Idol worshipping was a strange thing. In the biblical Israel, Jews were religious and they were idol worshippers. Because of their religion, you understand? What idol worshipping means? I'm looking for something more tangible, a God that I can hold on to. It's coming from the need of having a God, you understand? Being an idol worshipper, in one point, is a religious man is an idol worshipper. Somebody who's not religious doesn't care for anything. He doesn't need God, he doesn't need an idol, doesn't need anything.
No, they weren't atheists.
That's what I'm saying. But what's the attraction of the idol worshipper?
It's a sense of security. It's false security.
Self-support.
You make your own God.
Yeah, it's a visible God.
Right.
No, you shape God the way you want him.
Carve
I don't like this God, I'll take this God. You don't want to be my God, here's my God. I shape God in my instead of we are in the image of God, the God is in my image. The way I like him, I don't like him today, we like tomorrow. We create a new philosophy. The joke is that once a rabbi came and they asked him, they wanted to hire him, what is your beliefs? He gives them all speech, but he said, but if you don't like it, I have another set of beliefs. You understand? That's the attraction in the idol worship. Then on one hand you have a God, but the God that doesn't tell you what to do. No, they say the Jerusalem Jews, they love the Kotel. Why Jews run to the Kotel, to the wall in Jerusalem? It's a rabbi who doesn't tell you what to do.
That's how they have.
You understand? He only listens, like a good mother listens, you're the best, you're good, but he never demands, never asks you what to do. Sure, Kotel, great! Everybody wants to go to a Kotel. Going to a living rabbi tells you, where were you yesterday? Why you have to do it? What you do is not right. Oh, yeah. No, by Hasidim, every time you hear, oh, the previous Rebbe was a very righteous man. Sure, he cannot demand from you anything. Sure, he was a righteous man. No, he's righteous. Because he cannot tell you what to do. You don't mind to say that he's righteous. But the one who is alive, oh, he will ask me to do, who knows what he's going to ask me tomorrow. But this is what the problem was at that time. That's what he's warning, Amos is warning. But now in number 11, there is a turning around of the old message. Number 11.
On that day when the wicked are punished, I will erect David's fallen sukkah, i.e.
David's fallen sukkah. Bayom Mahu Hakim et Sukkah David HaNofelet. Were we saying in the prayer this expression, Sukkah David HaNofelet? When we benching after the meal on Sukkot, we say Arachaman. You know the Rachamans that you say? By the benching, you say there's a Rachaman, will send us Elijah the prophet, or Rachman will do this, will bless the owner of the house. Then there is a Rachaman. Rachaman means the merciful one. God, the merciful one, will establish the full Sukkah of David. Why is it? It represents the Jewish people. God will build back the Sukkah of the Jewish people.
Right, you're talking about the Messiah here. Or new line.
Yes, this is messianic, is it not?
No, but it could be
it's not a contradiction.
could be referring to the end of the 6th century when Ezra came back. In other words,
The question is why it's called
post-Babylonian.
Yeah,
exile.
absolutely. It means it could refer to all of this. The question is why the prophet is using the word Sukkah, the Sukkah of David. Why not the house of David? Don't we say people from the house of David?
Yes.
That the expression Moshiach will be from the house of
Yes.
David. The temple, the Beis Hamikdash. Beis is a house. The house of God, the house of David, the house of Israel. It's all over the house. Why Sukkah?
Temporary house.
It's a temporary house. Then it's a problem. It's a temporary house.
Well, it's a divided house now. Anyway.
Now it's a divided house.
Okay, and so, but before it was divided, it was unified.
That's why he's using Sukkah. Go ahead.
Eyes of God.
What?
He's got it here.
Guys of God, which chapter?
Azim.
Azino, very good, yes. Where is it? Where is it? Beina Shana. Yeah, the house of God, but it's in bad connection. You do that. You're right. You'll do the evil thing in the house of God. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt the sukkah
No problem.
discussion.
Then what's with the sukkah? Who used the expression, the description of a sukkah?
Ezekiel?
In what connection? Yeah. Ezekiel, who else?
In the War of Gog and Magog.
Yeah, beside it. Not far from Ezekiel.
Well, Balaam talks about the tents.
The tent, yeah, not the sukkah, yeah. Jeremiah, Isaiah, when they describe how Assyrian king came and he took over the whole kingdom of Israel, and Judah was left like a sukkah, like a little hut in a kerem, right? You know, the kerem in a vineyard. Jeremiah describes that Jerusalem is like, there is a vineyard, there is the house of the guard who sits in a little hut. Mm-hmm. That's how he described Jerusalem was left. Everything was around them taken away. The only thing was left was a little sukkah. Like a sukkah in the vineyard. That's how he describes it. And here, the good thing about the sukkah, the bad thing, sukkah is very fragile after it. But you can put it together. A house you don't put it together back. You build a new house. A sukkah you can put together. It fell apart, you put it together.
Right.
That's a good part. That's what he's saying here. It's not going to be destroyed. It fell apart. We'll put it together. That's okay. Nothing happened. How many times sukkahs fell apart during the middle of sukkahs because of bad wind? Many times. Sure, many times. What do? You go out, you put together like the sukkah, you fix it, fine, move on. That's what he says. The sukkah of King David, the house of Israel, is a sukkah. Fell apart, fine, it's not destroyed. It was never destroyed. It fell apart. God will put the sukkahs David together, and we move on.
Isn't this an interesting message to be telling the Northern Kingdom? Because they had abandoned the Davidic kings, right? It was only the South that had the Davidic king at this point.
You're right, but he basically told them that the only future is the Davidic king. Don't think you without them you have a future. There is the idea of a sukkah in a kerem, in a vineyard, is very common in the book of Isaiah, especially. He describes there is a famous parable that God is saying that he built a sukkah. No, he planted a vineyard and he wanted it should grow grapes, and they all came out bad grapes. He says, I put so much effort in the vineyard, and everything came out bad. Mm-hmm. And he's asking the people of Jerusalem, what do you think should I do with the vineyard if it's all bad? Sorry. And then he tells them, the prophet says, the vineyard is the Jewish people, and Hashem is the one who planted the vineyard, and instead of good fruit came out bad fruit. Then today I heard a story from the Rebbe, from the Talmud, Jerusalem Talmud, about this whole metaphor. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was once a part of another 6-7 rabbis who came together. 7 rabbis you needed always to come together to decide that the next year is a leap year. They came together in Bikat Rimon, I think. It was a place in the north, I think. And they have big arguments, but when they finished, before they left, they kissed each other. For rabbis to kiss each other is a big achievement, you need to understand. Because even the arguments, fiery arguments about Torah, and they disagreed about many things, they kissed each other. Then it was so much that one rabbi at that time they used to dress themselves with a talis. That's how they used to wear. There was no clothing. One rabbi did not have a normal talis, that another rabbi cut off a piece of his talis and gave it to him. Then Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was saying 7 commentaries to the verse, Kerem haya liyedidi. A vineyard was for my Yedid. Yedid means friend. Who is the friend? God. Let's talk about the parable that I just told you. And the parable, when you read it, is very negative. Basically, God says, I thought I would get good grapes, and it's all ruined, it's all messed up. It was a waste of time. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was saying commentaries. Then who is Yedidi? Hashem. God is the Yedidi. God is described as my dear friend. Yedidi means a friend. Yedid Hashem, the friend of God. Then God is our friend, a true friend that really loves you and cares for you. That because the kerem, the vineyard, belongs to the friend, and in this vineyard all the grapes are growing, that no matter how bad they are still in the vineyard of God. And God is not going to destroy the vineyard. Then the Jewish people are the grapes, are the trees of the grapes, what it's called?
Vines.
The vines. And from time to time they produce some bad grapes, but it's not really bad. So this season it was bad, because a Jew has an evil inclination, and from time to time, Chapsamona Mishugais to do something stupid. But in essence, is a part of the vineyard of God, and God is the boss, and God doesn't give up on the vineyard, and He continues to build it.
So it's different than the American expression, one bad apple spoils the bunch. It's just the opposite.
It's interesting what you say now. Spoils the bunch, therefore we should throw out the bad apple.
Yeah, one bad apple spoils the barrel.
Then you should, and therefore, it's a big argument in schools, in yeshivas, in cheders, in everywhere. One bad student. Should you throw him out because you saved the class or not? The Rebbe said, listen, ultimately you have to care for the many, but he said you should do everything possible not to throw a student out of the yeshiva. You should go as far as possible never to throw out somebody from the yeshiva.
What about that 1/60th rule? One apple in the barrel? One out of 60 apples?
That's not about spoiling, it's about making it not kosher. It's a whole different rule. But I remember I had one of my mentors, he says in yeshiva in Kfar Chabad there was always this guy who said throw from the principal, from the leadership, so throw the bad apples out. There was one guy who was always on the other side. And once he was by the Rebbe, and he says he wanted to ask the Rebbe, what should he do? But if he wanted it, didn't want it, he wanted it, didn't want it, he wasn't sure. He's already about walking out from the Rebbe's room. The Rebbe looks at him and told him, try everything he can do to keep them in. And he told the story 4 years later, he says, many of them that I was fighting for them to stay in the yeshiva end up to be very, very good and important rabbis. Then, that's the vineyard of God. In the vineyard of God, every one of them is a part of it. Mm-hmm. And even if they come out not so great, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai says, keep them in. He said 7 commentaries to it. Why the Rebbe says, why 7? Because the menorah is 7 branches. It represents the Jewish people. And the Jewish people, all 7 branches, he wants to say, no matter which branch it is, it's a part of the same menorah. You know, the menorah had to be etched out from one piece of gold, not 7 branches attached together, to make a statement that it's one people, one body, not attached, not a multiple of people.
Is that the same message of the 4 children and other things as well? We're all part of the same team, right?
I think the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Did you ever hear that?
No.
The whole.
Oh, the whole, yeah.
Is greater than the sum of its parts.
Absolutely. And that's what he's saying here. Now we'll read number 11, the rest of number 11. Read it again, basically.
On that day, when the wicked are punished, I will erect David's fallen Sukkah, i.e. the fallen Davidic monarchy. I will build its broken walls caused by the split into 2 kingdoms, erect its ruined status during exile, and rebuild it as it was in former times. Mm-hmm. The monarchy will be such that the Jewish people who are called by my name, the people of God, will inherit the remaining peoples of Edom and all the other nations to be their servants, says God, who will carry out this promise.
Okay. Then God says we are going to bring them back, we'll reestablish the kingdom of David, basically. That's what he says. Now in number 13, he goes even further.
Look, days are coming.
Days are coming. Go ahead.
Says God, when the plowman will be so busy with the large amounts of crops that he continues plowing up to the time of reaping so that he meets up with the reaper. Mm-hmm. The treader of grapes will be so busy with the large volume of grapes that he meets with the seed carrier who's going to plant the new crop. So many grapes will grow in the mountains that wine will drip from the mountains, and there will be such an abundance of food that it will appear as if the hills have melted, forming oil and milk.
Whoa! Where is this written in the Torah? In the Parsha of this week. The beginning of Parshat Acharei Amos. It says something very similar. Beginning of Parshat Acharei Amos says, if you will you listen to my command on page 827. There's time for everybody to find it. 8:27.
Okay.
You want to
got it.
read the beginning?
Okay. If you will pursue the study of my laws in order to guard my commandments and observe them, then I will give you rain at a convenient time. The land will yield its produce, and in future even the non-fruit bearing trees of the field will produce fruit. You will be busy with threshing until the grape harvest, and the grape harvest will keep you busy until the sowing season.
You see? The same idea. That one season will meet the other season. Will be such an abundance that you never have time to clean up your nose, basically. You will constantly be busy. You know, when I complain to my mother that I'm very busy, she tells me, that's good. Other people are not. Right? When you're busy at work, it's good, it's a blessing. When the store is busy, oh, it's so much work. Yeah. You wish for these days, right? That's what Hashem is saying. That is going to be. That really, what this parsha of this week is the same blessing that Amos is giving us. When Moshiach will come. Number 14. We're going back to the Haftorah of this week. Of this parsha. Number 14. Go ahead.
I will then pacify the exiles of Israel, my people. They will rebuild the cities that were destroyed during the exile and will inhabit them forever. They will plant vineyards, and they alone will drink their wine. They will cultivate gardens and eat their fruits. I will plant them on their land with firm roots like a tree, and they will never again be uprooted from the land that I've given them, says God, your God.
Then here it says, "Shafti et shvut ami Israel." I will pacify them. I'll bring them back. Really, one of the meaning, I think, I'll bring them back. V'shov Hashem Elokecha yishvuscha. It's an expression. I don't know why they translated it different, because in the end of the Torah, is written that God will bring you. Where is that? It's right written. It's written. There is written that God will, here it is, page 1321. The bottom of the number 3. Then
Then God, your God, will return your captives from exile, and he will have mercy upon you. He will gather you again from all the nations where God, your God, had dispersed you.
Okay, here, the language Veshav is the same as Veshavti. Veshav, look in the Hebrew line, the last line on page 1320, the last line. Veshav Hashem Elokecha et Shvutcha. You see the word Shav? Shvutcha?
Yeah.
Now look in the Haftorah. Number in the Haftorah which you just read, Veshavti et Shvut Israel, Shvut Am Israel. The same word, Shavti, Shvut. I'll bring back. God will bring back the Jewish people. How is God going to bring back? It's written that God goes with the Jews to exile. When he stays with them, wherever the Jews go, the Shekhinah goes with the Jews. He never sends the Jews. He goes with them. And he never comes before them back. He comes with them back, together with them. Then God is not necessarily in the Holy Land. God is where the Jews are. Now we have a lot of Jews in the Holy Land. Beautiful. That God is there too. But God is, there is the Shekhinah in the whole package is moving with the Jews.
Is that the idea that God is in the synagogue? The Shekhinah is in the synagogue?
God is wherever Jews are. If the Jews are in the bar, God is in the bar. If the shul is empty, the Jews are in the bar, God is not in shul, he's in the bar. God is where the Jews are. Sometimes he's happy to be there, sometimes he's not so happy, but he's where the Jews are. You know, it's like the people say, wherever my kids are moving, I'm moving with them. And not necessarily happy to move, but he's moving. And you see, everything in the physical world is a reflection of the spiritual world. That if in the physical world parents will go wherever the children are, at because this is the way in the spiritual world. God will go wherever the Jewish people are. Now, not always the parents are going, depends. If the children are established and their families, then the parents might move. But the idea is like this. The same thing is here. V'shavti shvut ami means that God will bring back Israel. They will establish cities. Cities were desolated. They will build them. They will plant vineyard. They will drink the wine. They will, and then He promised them they will never leave the land again, because the Moshiach will come, will be one time forever, will be there, and that's how the book of Amos concludes. That's the end of his book. That's why it's chosen as Haftorah, because of the positive side of it. Because the Haftorah's job is, see, the prophets in their time might have to give reprimand to the Jewish people. At their time, in their place, it was the right thing to say. It doesn't mean we need to say it in shul. There's a famous story about Rabbi Eliezer the Great. There is a Haftorah that we don't have it in this book, I think. Odai et Yerushalayim al ta'avotea. Tell Jerusalem about your abomination, bad behavior. That once was a student stood up in shul by Rabbi Eliezer the Great. Rabbi Eliezer the Great was a very strict rabbi, very sharp. He was one of the greatest rabbis. But you saw, remember the famous story that threw him out from the yeshiva. There is a reason for it. Somebody started to read the Haftorah. He told them, he said, before you speak about the abominations of Jerusalem, go check the abominations of your mother. They went and they checked, and there was something wrong there in the family, in the dynasty. The Rabbi said, "You coming and you're speaking against Jerusalem?" He didn't read his own thing. He read the Haftorah. He read a prophecy. But the rabbis didn't like the idea to take prophecies, even it's from the Torah. Yeah, you don't take negative things. Jews come to shul to hear something positive. What do you start to beat them up over the head? Tell them something inspiring. The whole job of the Haftorah, like in the Parsha of the week, in this Parshat Bechukotai, there is a whole section of the curses, right? The curses in the Torah, in the Parsha, to a point that the Torah reader, you don't honor anybody with the Aliyah. The Torah reader, he himself gets the Aliyah, because the whole language in the text is, and it should be to you, to you, to you, to you. And if you ate somebody in shul, he says, "Come, I have an Aliyah for you." Then because of this, even the Torah reader is not being called up to the Torah. He just says the blessing and he moves on. Then the Torah, we have to read the Torah. The whole 5 books of Moses, we have no choice. You cannot choose them, pick and choose. But the Haftorah is pick and choose, made specially to take positive pieces that a person should walk home after shul with an upbeat mood. Here is words of comforting. And the Rebbe, many times he used to read the Haftorah, used to cry, because it was so, he used to see how, used to pray that this should be fulfilled, this prophecy should become a reality.
Well, I mean, I think it's amazing, again, that this he prophesied 150 years before the destruction of the first temple, and 50 years after that, they came back.
70 years ago, yeah. They came back, you're right.
So the people at that time that were reading this, right?
Yeah,
and they saw what was happening.
It was almost, it was not exactly, the coming back was a little...
It was schlecht.
It was not so exciting.
They only had 40,000 on the first run coming back.
Little, like,
But still, it was
yeah, you're right, better than
yeah.
not, you're right.
Yeah, it was a second temple.
It was a second temple.
And it happened a lot faster than...
No, the prophet said it's going to be 70 years.
Yeah.
But you're right, but it didn't look like it's going to happen in 70 years. The way it looked outside, they didn't look they're going to come back in 70 years. How much more did you see what the point is? Amos, there is a concept in Judaism, you complete something on a good note. We spoke about it a while ago, a year ago I think. This is one of the proofs for it. Amos gives bad news. By the end he says, but guys, in the end of the days, it's going to be good days.